Woohoo! It's a me, your guide in the chair, and this is my impression of a Mario and a Luigi. And before I embarrass myself any further with this Italian accent, let's go to the movie review. This is a Super Mario Brothers movie. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for the Super Mario Brothers movie starring Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, and was directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. And our story is very simple here, guys. We are following our favorite plumber brothers who essentially just fall into the Mushroom Kingdom. They go two separate ways into the Mushroom Kingdom, but nonetheless, we follow our favorite plumber Mario on an adventure where he has to stop Bowser from, after him obtaining this star power, he has to stop him from taking over the entire Mushroom Kingdom and trying to marry Princess Peach. And him and Princess Peach team up to save the day. It's a very simple premise. It's the same objective as the game. So with the people complaining that this thing has a lack of story, while I do understand where you're coming from, the game's objective is the same every time, so I don't really understand where people are getting off by just complaining about the story so much. Essentially, where this rant is coming from, I'm going to start my review by addressing the elephant in the room. The Rotten Tomatoes score about this thing. The lopsided audience score versus the critic score. I don't understand why critics are going into this film with sticks up their ass.
Hey, you're white. Smile.
This is a Super Mario Brothers movie based off the wildly popular video game that I'm sure everyone has played and everyone has experienced. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you have ever played this game and you had as much fun as I've had as a kid playing these Mario games, there's no reason you shouldn't like this movie. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Yes, while this movie, after a while, you start to realize like there's not really much going on other than the fact that Mario just has to defeat Bowser. That's literally how the games are played out. Like literally, this movie plays out how the games even start. Bowser's castle literally just lands on the map. And, you know, he takes over, blah, blah, blah. They give you a background of the story. They'll go all the way back to Mario, show where he has to start for his journey, and he just has to take down Bowser. Like, it's literally the same thing. I don't really understand why people are so obsessed over the fact that this movie has no creative story. This is not Puss in Boots. This is not Big Hero 6. This is not a complex animation movie that they're trying to make here, guys, with a complex story. You really don't need that, if I'm being completely honest. This movie is pure fun. This movie is just meant to walk into the theater and just have so much fun. And if you could just turn your brain off, you can do that. I don't understand why the critics are just completely crapping on this movie. Like, it's up. Last time I checked this thing, it's probably a lot higher now, but with like 171 reviews, the movie was at like for the critics rating, it was at like a 55. Now, whatever graphic I show now is probably a lot different, but it's still probably ranging around the 55 range. I just don't understand why people are so hard on this movie. There's no reason to be. I literally walked in here and I'm thinking to myself, I had my critic side, of course. I saw where people were coming from as far as this movie not having, you know, a very complex or a very pivotal point to their story. Like the only point is to really, you know, I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. They kind of, with the objective of just defeating Bowser, they do a pretty good job, in my opinion, of filling in the gaps, of giving you some sort of plot, some sort of, you know, character development to actually care about. I mean, Mario literally feels like so small in the beginning of the film, and then by the end, he's the superhero that we all love. Well, not superhero, but the super plumber, however you want to call him, the guy that we all know and love. I mean, dude, I'm okay. I'm done with the critics because I don't want to address that asinine anymore, or at least right now. I want to get to what I liked about the film, so let's get into that. All right, guys, look, simply put, this movie is a ton of fun. Like, literally, if you are a fan of the Mario games, if you're a fan of the Mario Party games, the kart games, no matter what variation of Mario you've played, and if you've had fun with those games, you can have a great time in this movie. This movie is so much fun. I mean, literally, the entire time, I felt like I was back at my grandma's house when I was a kid, like 4 or 5 year old, playing her, I think it was a Super Nintendo, like with the cartridges and things like that. Like, my grandma had all like 5 different Mario games, and I remember playing all of those and just being indulge in those games for like hours. Like I could play those games for a long time. And sitting in that theater yesterday, I felt like I was back in my grandma's living room, reliving the best days of my childhood, because this movie was just so much fun. Like watching all the power ups, watching Mario just go through, the different obstacles and the all the things that, we had to play in the game. Like it was just fun seeing all that play out on screen. I had so much fun in this theater. Also, this movie is freaking hilarious. Like I was laughing hysterically throughout the film. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think most of the kids in the theater caught most of these references. I'm not sure how popular Mario is with the kids these days. Because I know kids my age still play Mario Kart 24/7, and I honestly would still play a Mario game if I could. Like Mario is still super fun. I don't know how popular Mario is with the kids these days with Fortnite and Minecraft and crap, but I really felt like the kids were missing a lot of references. But nonetheless, this movie is hysterical, man. Like there are so many great side characters in this movie. A pivotal standout is this star that is locked up with all these other characters. It's like this depressing star, but he says that he's a very depressing star, but he says depressing things in the happiest way, and it had me dying throughout the film. Like I love that character. That star was hilarious. Another character I thought was absolutely hilarious was Bowser. Jack Black as Bowser was amazing, man. I absolutely loved him as Bowser. Jack Black always brings the right energy to a film, and especially to a character, man. He just brings such great energy. He just brings such charismatic and just charming fun, man. Jack Black really knows how to bring characters to life. I absolutely loved it. On top of that, while Bowser was also hysterical, he was very menacing for the most part too. They describe Bowser as one of the most evil creatures in the world, and you can definitely see why, man. He has a very evil side and a humorous side as well. I love the mixture of both, and Jack Black just made Bowser such a fun character. As far as our two main guys go, Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, I'm going to separate them because Chris Pratt's performance I actually really enjoyed. I actually thought he did a really good job as Mario. I'm not going to lie. I was thoroughly impressed with his performance. I didn't know until after the film that they weren't even going to do the Italian accents throughout the film. Like I actually read something they announced it like a year ago before the movie even came out that they weren't going to be doing the Italian accents. I didn't know that because in the very beginning of the film, there's a commercial that plays and they're doing the accents and it's actually really good. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm actually digging it. But then they kind of segue into explaining why they're not using the accents. And for the film, it works. Because honestly, you don't really want to see a bad Italian impression the entire film. You don't want to make actors do something that they really can't do for a long time or, for a certain amount of time. Like, you don't want to make them do an accent that's just not really going to come off as correct. So you'd rather them just, segue into whatever's making them comfortable. And it works for the film. Now, like I said, I enjoyed Chris Pratt's performance. Charlie Day as Luigi, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of the casting before the film. And honestly, I'm still kind of sold on the fact that Luigi could have been played by anybody else. Not that I don't love Charlie Day. I think Charlie Day is absolutely hilarious. He's amazing. I do love Charlie Day. But I really felt like somebody else could have played Luigi. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I wasn't necessarily upset. But it's just like every time I'm watching Luigi, I don't know if maybe I have the wrong misconception of Luigi, but they definitely portrayed him as the weaker character. While he's definitely that secondary character you don't want to play with as much. I don't remember him being as weak as they portrayed him in the film. I know as the second character, nobody really wants to play as Luigi all the time. Everybody wants to play as Mario. So I think that's kind of where they were getting the weakness in the character himself, but I don't know. I really felt like Charlie Day could have just been replaced by anybody else. I don't know. He did an okay job, but I was sold on Chris Pratt's performance as Mario. I thought he did a great job. Anya Taylor-Joy, spectacular. She always kills it. As Princess Peach, she was very good. But the biggest standout of the main Mario characters, of the heroes at least, was Toad. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, phenomenal. I loved Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. I mean, this dude just brought so much. Toad was hilarious. He was a badass. He was just a great part of the film. I enjoyed everything that Toad had to do in this movie. And honestly, all the other side characters and the creatures that you run into themselves, it's just great seeing all the nostalgia and all the characters that you just grew up fighting against or fighting with in this film. I just have so much. anytime this movie showed a power up or it showed something that like what effect it has on the Mario game and what's coming next, you're fully engaged in what's going on. At least I was. Like I said, I truly felt like I was a kid again in this film. Like literally, like even the Mario Kart scene itself, where they had the three sections where you pick your cart, the wheel, and then whatever accessory comes on it. I went crazy for that. The blue shell scene, the bombs, how they changed direction. I mean, there was so much going on in this movie that you just absolutely adore, because it all goes back to a game that we all grew up loving, man. And I'm truly confused about how anybody could sit in this theater and just not have a fantastic experience, man. I mean, I truly feel like this in most animated movies I go to nowadays. I feel like I'm having the most fun more than anyone in the theater, man. The same goes for like Puss in Boots. I was dying throughout the film. I was crying. I was going crazy in Puss in Boots, and I felt like nobody else had that effect, like, and for whatever reason. And in this film, it was moments where the theater would collectively laugh, but then it was just like some moments where adults would only laugh. The kids weren't really getting it. The kids would laugh at some stuff, but it was kind of, just minor little kid things, not really anything anybody going too crazy over. But overall, I just had a very enjoyable experience in this film. Like, I literally just, like, I feel like there's no better feeling in a movie, like, especially one like this that is based off a popular childhood video game. I feel like there's no better feeling going into a movie like this and coming out feeling like a kid again. Like, I feel like that's what you're supposed to feel like. So for the people really shitting on this film and, talking about a lack of a story, I truly don't get it. I truly don't understand it at all, and I just can't wrap my head around it. Another thing that I really loved about this movie that I did not expect to be talking about was the soundtrack for this film. I mean, like, the actual, like, the original songs that they came up with and the actual song selections themselves that they played throughout the film were incredible. Like, people were in there jamming. Like, I'm telling you, like, it was such a great time. There was so many, I'm not necessarily gonna, spoil what the songs were, but there were so many moments in the film where I'm literally like rocking out in my head. I'm having so much fun watching Mario do Mario things, man. This movie is just an absolute blast, man. Overall, this is a hysterical time in the theater. It's a nostalgic time in the theater. It's a moment for people to get together and really just, enjoy our childhood again. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand where all the hate for this movie is coming from. Like I said, I did see where people are coming from as far as a lack of a story goes. But then, because like midway through the movie, I'm like, all right, I can see where people are coming from, because we're not really watching anything happen but just this objective kind of play out. And while I do get that, the game itself is literally a simple premise. It's literally, you have to defeat Bowser, whether or not he has Princess Peach or not. At the end of the day, you have to defeat Bowser. So it's like, that's really the only objective to these games. So it's like, what story were y'all really looking for in here? This is really just a time for you to reminisce and enjoy just being a kid again. I had such a phenomenal time in this movie. And, overall, guys, it's a great time. Please don't listen to these critics. I don't know what's up their ass, man. Seriously, I don't know why people just can't have fun. Like the last few weeks have been the most fun in the movies I've had in a very, very long time. On a consistent basis, as far as like the entire month of March, or mostly the entire month of March. But from John Wick to Dungeons and Dragons to the Mario movie now, like I'm just having so much fun in the theaters, man. And I'm really liking the direction that movies are going in as far as bringing just pure fun back to the theaters. Like, it's something that I feel like we really need, and I feel like this is a good movie to have or to experience with like other people, because it's just like coming together and seeing Mario up on the screen is something just I never thought I would be able to see, and just honestly watching it felt really good. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm gonna give the Super Mario Brothers movie a 3.75 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, so the Super Mario Brothers movie, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Be sure to comment down below your thoughts on the film. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.